By now, I'm sure we're all aware of the fall of Portsmouth. But what if I told you the rise was starting to happen? Back into the championship, and now one league away, one brilliant season away from finding themselves back in the Premier League. But that one brilliant season just feels so far away. Portsmouth are in the relegation battle of their lives, trying to stay in the championship. So today, I'm going to be taking over at Portsmouth, at Pompey, to make the South Coast club a juggernaut once again. Come along as I rebuild Portsmouth. So here is the default starting 11 that we do have as we take over at Portsmouth. Some notable names, including Murphy and Matt Ritchie, the Aussie Sam Silvera on the bench as well. But we have got some serious work to do to this squad if we are going to be able to survive relegation. Let's begin. But I should also point out, Sam Silvera is not the only Aussie in this squad. We've got Jacob Farrell, former Central Coast Mariner, and the striker Kusini Yengi, who used to play for my favourite Australian club, the Western Sydney Wanderers. So it felt right that I rocked the Aussie kit for this one. But making our task even tougher to survive relegation, we only have £3 million in our transfer budget, so we need to be very smart about who we bring in. We have found our first signing though, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be at the right midfield position. It is going to be the Brazilian midfielder, Pablo Felipe, joining us here for the right-hand side. He's going to sign on from Gil Vicente for £1.8 million. I've got to sell some players though if I want to be able to even make one more quality signing for our starting 11. So I'm trimming the fat. Will Norris, backup goalkeeper, sold permanently. And in a move that might ruffle a few feathers, I'm going to sell the starting centre-back Connor Shaughnessy to FC Nantes. He was 69 rated, but as far as I see it, I want to keep Regan Poole and Iban Boat as our two starting centre-backs for this season. There are a bunch of young quality players on the books here though at Pompey, so I want to get some loan moves to them and see if we can get some growth out of them. Riley Towler heading to Anderlecht for the year, and Harvey Blair heading to Racing de Ferrol for 2 years. Don't shoot me, fellas. I had to bring in one Australian. I had to. It's still a very tactical and a very wise decision in my opinion. Patrick Yazbek joining us from Nashville. Things haven't quite gone to plan for Yazbek at Nashville. If you keep up with the MLS, you would probably know why, and if I say why, I will get demonetized, but I'm pumped to have him in the squad. Sending a midfielder back to the MLS though, it is Kamara heading on loan to Vancouver, Terry Devlin's heading on loan to FC Nantes, and finally Tom Lowry is heading to the Netherlands on a permanent transfer. But this is how things look as we finish our opening transfer window with Portsmouth. I don't know what this season or what this rebuild has in store, but I can't wait to find out. Let's see how we're looking come January 1st. 16th in the championship I can live with, and I feel pretty good about that until I realize that we're actually still really in the relegation battle. We are only 4 points clear of Blackburn Rovers. The good thing, there are a lot of teams in this relegation battle, and we are also super far in front of Oxford United and Sheffield Wednesday. So it's really just that last spot in the relegation battle that we have to avoid. So I'm going to try getting some business done here. I'm going to transfer list Josh Murphy, cash in on him, cash in on another player or two, and look to get a new left midfielder. And look, I wasn't planning on selling Kusini Yengi, but when you see who I sold him to, you are going to understand why. I have sold Yengi to my American team right now, in the country and the city that I live, FC Cincinnati. It's never happened in history. I'm sure it's something that, every kid grows up for. Kusini Yengi has now played for both of my favorite teams. The Western Sydney Wanderers, who I supported when I was living in Australia, and FC Cincinnati, the team that I've been following for the past 3 years since I moved to Cincinnati. That is brilliant. If he ends up at Fulham, then I'm going to be pumped. But we're here on deadline day, and I haven't been able to get the offers for Murphy or some of the other guys I've tried to sell from Fratton Park, so I'm going to have to divert my attention a little bit here. And that is to bring Nathan Patterson to Fratton Park on a permanent transfer with just 4 appearances for Everton in real life this season. He needs game time. He's at a critical point of his career, and I want to deliver success to the Scotsman. We bring him in from Everton for £2.7 million. Amazing. We have finished 17th right now in the championship. We were 13 points clear of Millwall. I am surprised. Sheffield Wednesday have had an unbelievable second half of the season, and they have clawed themselves up to 18th position. We're in 17th. All I wanted this year was to survive relegation, and we have done that with relative ease. But it will be Millwall, Blackburn, and Oxford going down, which I'm pretty surprised by. And as we scroll up the table, the Premier League clubs next season, Leeds and Luton. Liverpool win the FA Cup. Unfortunately, a 4th round exit for us. Man City win the Carabao Cup. Even worse for us there, though. And Norwich City back in yo-yo territory. They're returning to the Premier League. Our striker, Colby Bishop, an absolute stud for us this year. 20 goals. Pablo Felipe, our first signing, absolutely crushing it this year. 19 goals, 9 assists. Couldn't have asked for a much better first season from him. Paddy Lane making a claim to get the starting 11 left midfield spot as well. Riley Towler goes up to a 66 overall on his loan spell. Harvey Blair, year 1 is a +3 growth for him. +3 growth as well for Kamara. That's actually really good. And Devlin to a 67. Our young core, our young players are actually class. We will be losing 2 players at the end of this season though, Freddie Potts and Sam Silvera. Silvera, I'm going to just let him stay at Middlesbrough, but Freddie Potts, I'm likely going to try bringing back to the club in season number 2. I believe we still have a fair way to go if we want to get ourselves to the Premier League, but in season number 2, I want to go in with the mentality that I want us getting promoted to the Premier League. I'm pushing for promotion every season from here on in. Freddie Potts is back on a permanent transfer. We had to do it. He was one of our standout players last year. He was growing nicely. This just makes sense. Freddie Potts, welcome back. We bring him in from West Ham United, £3.4 million. He's basically sent us broke, but I'm happy to have him regardless. And the first man out of the club is a midfielder this year, Andre Dozzell. He wanted to leave last January, didn't get any offers for him in January, but we got a lot to start this season. So the Englishman will be heading to Coventry City. Josh Murphy heads to Middlesbrough for 1.2 mil. And the next big move I'm looking to make is in between the sticks. So I've sold Nicholas Schmid. But I'm trying to get all of the players that I put on the transfer list out of the club before I go in for a goalkeeper. So I'm working with the most amount of money possible. This here is not a transfer, it is a loan. Wait, no, I lied. This one's Jordan Williams. Sorry, I've got a lot of business going on right now. Jordan Williams heads to Sheffield United. One man I will not be selling, though, is Pablo Felipe. If he can have a season like he did last year again this year, I think this dude's going to turn into a superstar with dynamic player potential. But there we go. This is the loan move I was thinking about. Abdullah Kamara heading to the Saudi League for 12 months. And Ben Stevenson heading to Poland permanently. That has left us a healthy amount of money to go in for a new goalkeeper right here. And that is exactly what I've done. I'm pretty pumped with this transfer. We're going to bring the Japanese goalkeeper in, Zion Suzuki, joining us from Parma. 73 overall, he signs on for £4 million. Are we going to have enough, though, to get ourselves even in the conversation for promotion? Honestly, I think if we went up to the Premier League today, we would put up a record for the worst season in Premier League history. But I'm hoping the growth can hit us this year. I don't know what to expect. We are in a worse position than last season. We're 7 points out of the relegation zone. Sunderland down there right now. But we have not really made any improvements in 12 months. I mean, how far away from the playoffs? I mean, we are only 3 points away from like 12th position here. Playoffs are going to take a serious push, but the dream is not over. We almost need a perfect second half of the season. But if the dream of getting promoted looks very unlikely this season, I think we try to continue planning for the future. Which is why I've decided to make the move on from Colby Bishop. He's been banging in the goals, but I want someone long-term. I want to develop a striker. The 29-year-old moves to FC Midtjylland in the Danish league for 1.8 mil. And after an extensive search that has sent me to every single corner of the globe, I have found my new striker. Coming from the Ukraine, it is Ponomarenko, the Ukrainian striker joining us from Dynamo Kiev for £3 million. It's a slight drop in overall, but long-term, this is going to be a brilliant pickup. Ponomarenko, no pressure, mate. So again, we weren't even close to the relegation zone, but we have finished 16th. It's what, a 1 position increase from last year? 55 points. I'm just telling myself that I'm laying the foundations, and one of these seasons, everything's going to pop off. But right now, rebuilding Portsmouth is a slog. Going down are Bolton on 34 points, Sheffield Wednesday on 38, Sunderland on 42. And as we scroll up the table, Burnley and Brentford back in the Prem. Arsenal win the FA Cup. Hey, we've gone one further this year, made it to the round of 16. Tottenham have won the Carabao. I just don't think the Carabao Cup is going to be our tournament. And Middlesbrough are the club going to the Premier League next season. That gives me hope because they were so close to us in the table last year. Callum Lang taking over this season though, 19-9. It's not too fair for me to judge Ponomarenko given he's here for only half the season, but 1 goal in every 3 games isn't a terrible return rate for a striker. I'm hopeful that he can go further though with a full season under his belt next year. Pablo Felipe though, already being infected with dynamic player potential up to a 76 overall. I feel like we're going to notice a big disparity in some of our players in the next season or two. 2 players will be leaving us at the end of the season though. Marlon Pack and Matt Ritchie are both retiring. As we enter season number 3, we're in such a difficult position with our starting 11. Certain areas are growing so well, but then financially, I can't bring in superstar prospects at other areas. So I'm going to go a little left field here, both in terms of the tactic and the position I'm upgrading, as I sign the French left midfielder Tidiam Gomis from Osasuna for £3 million. He's 71 rated. He's a nice little upgrade, but nothing insane. I just didn't want to spend and couldn't spend a crazy amount of money on a left midfield prospect. So I'm curious to see where he goes, but the centre back position is where I really want to change things up this year. Like, we need the overall of the squad to have as many players around that 74, 75 marker as possible this year. So first things first, I'm going to loan out Terry Devlin to FC Cologne. I'm going to sell Paddy Lane to Sheffield United for £1.5 million. Sell our starting defender, Welshman Regan Poole, along with Owen Moxon to the Italian league. Kamara is progressing nicely though. I'm going to have a third loan move for him. He honestly might find his way in the starting 11 here soon though. But after those player departures and the preseason tournament, that leaves us with about £7 million in our budget. And with that, I'm going to make a different signing than I normally do in rebuilds. I'm going for a leader presence in the back line, somebody that is in the peak of their career and is higher rated than some of the youngsters we could have signed. Someone that has Premier League experience, has Champions League experience, Championship experience rather, and knows how to get promoted. It is Wout Faes, the Belgian centre-back, will be coming to Pompey. We get him on a cut price deal from Leicester of £5 million. And with that, this is how we shape up coming into season number 3. Are we going to find ourselves in the promotion picture? I certainly hope so. We haven't. So I've just noticed how much Suzuki is growing in this career mode, in this rebuild already. All right, we might actually be a better chance than I initially thought. All right, we're in the hunt, fellas. We are in the hunt here on the 1st of January. 1 point out of the playoffs this season. We need to get a sniff this year. Look at Bristol City. They've only had 1 loss all season, but 13 draws. That is ridiculous. Terry Devlin already up to a 73 overall, though, in the first half of the season. I might have to bring him back, honestly. I'm going to let his loan keep going, but he's progressing nicely, the Northern Irishman. I do not have a crazy amount of money, though, so I'm just going to go in here in January and sign Freddie Baker. Freddie is a young English right midfielder, going to provide some serious depth. He's very versatile, and he looks like a decent prospect. 20 years of age, 70 overall. Freddie Baker, welcome to Portsmouth. The second half of the season has gone brilliantly. We were so close to falling out of the playoffs. We get in there, though. I mean, we were seventh coming into the second half of the season. We could have easily been there on the final day of the season. We come 3rd, though, 78 points. Fulham and Ipswich walk the league, but it's between us, Leicester, West Brom, and Hull for the final Premier League spot. Scrolling down the table, relegation zone, it is Millwall, Rotherham, and Stevenage going down. Arsenal win a North London derby in the FA Cup final. We go out to Tottenham in the 3rd round. Chelsea winning the Carabao Cup is whatever. Gillingham making the final is actually unbelievable. They beat West Ham in the semis. They beat Tottenham in the quarters. I don't even care how we went. They beat Crystal Palace. Oh my God, Gillingham. Unfortunately, we still suck when it comes to the Carabao Cup. But we take down West Bromwich Albion 2-1. We're heading to Wembley Stadium, lads. We are heading to Wembley for the Championship playoff final. Portsmouth versus Leicester. Faes against his former side, and we are heading back to the Premier League. After 3 seasons in the Championship, Portsmouth are once again a Premier League club. Come on. And Pablo Felipe was an absolute superstar in the process. I'm going to be feeling so confident heading into the Premier League with him in our starting 11, up to an 80 overall, 27 goal contributions, 20 goal contributions for Ponomarenko with his first season under the belt, 76 overall, so that's definitely a great launching pad. Callum Lang's been so solid, but I might have to upgrade there. Gomis gets up +4. Beautiful. Kamara goes up to a 70, Devlin to a 73. Overall, I'm feeling really good about this squad, and I'm bringing everybody with us next year. Nobody walking on a free. To the Premier League we go. Let the games begin with Portsmouth. Back in the Premier League, and our first signing is going to shake everything up. One of the hottest prospects in English football at the moment. He left Arsenal in this save, headed to JarradHD. I'm bringing him back to the Premier League. It is the maestro in the midfield, Ethan Nwaneri. He's coming back to the Premier League with Portsmouth. Ethan Nwaneri joins us for £14 million from JarradHD. Elias Sorensen off to Atlanta United permanently, and Connor Ogilvie heads to Stoke City. Another year, another loan move though for Devlin. Back to France he goes with FC Lorient. Leeds United's relegation bound to the Championship though means we have been given an opportunity to sign Pascal Struijk on a cut price deal. We get the Dutchman for £13.5 million. 80 overall. I'm pumped about that. Also, one thing I'm going to do here, I want some defensive midfield backup. Kamara back into the side from his loan spell at Coventry. I'm converting him to a centre defensive midfielder. Nice little backup player here for Yazbek and Potts. But here we go, fellas. The battle to stay in the Premier League begins. I genuinely think we have what it takes to stay up in the Premier League this season. Not a single player lower rated than 75. A very balanced team, a couple of superstars in the side, and bringing in Struijk and Nwaneri definitely helps us. Let's see if this comes to fruition halfway through the season. All right, maybe I overestimated how good we were going to be this year. We are in the thick of the relegation battle. We are just out of it right now. 17th, 17 points. There's room to move up, but there is certainly room to go down. I could just escape it all and go join Alaves. Tempting, but no. Bro, everybody wants Ponomarenko. I'm rejecting as many as possible. Barcelona were in for the mix before. He's not going anywhere. As much as it pains me, I'm selling Jacob Farrell. The Australian heads to Leeds United for 5.2 mil. And selling Farrell helps us get a tidy little upgrade here. Nathaniel Brown joining us from Frankfurt. 79 rated, I'm pumped about that. That's a huge upgrade. But will it be enough to keep Portsmouth in the Premier League? Mission success, 5 points clear of the relegation zone. Only 9 wins all year, but we end up on 41 points. Palace on 36, and then Ipswich and Fulham go back down to the Championship on 31. I'm pretty pumped with that. Although I will say, we conceded the most goals in the league. We're going to have to do something about that next year. Scrolling up the table, Man United in 12th. Man City with an unbelievable season. Middlesbrough beat Brentford to win the FA Cup. We lost to Brentford on penalties in the semi-final. That was a slam dunk opportunity for us to win our first piece of silverware. And Burnley win the Carabao Cup. This was the season if we were going to win. Did we get past like the first round this time? I guess we get to go straight into the second round, don't we? Did we get past there? We did, but we went out in the third. Going to take a look at European football for the first time now that that is an objective. Champions League goes to PSG, Europa League to Atletico, and the Conference League to Tottenham. This is why we wanted to keep the faith with Ponomarenko. 25 goals in his first season in the Premier League, 5 in the FA Cup. The Ukrainian is a superstar. If we had some of the biggest clubs in Europe coming after him last year, I can only imagine what it's going to be like next year. Also, Pablo Felipe already exceeded his games-based potential. This dude's a freak. Nwaneri, great first year back in the Premier League. The future is looking bright at Portsmouth. We are going to be saying goodbye, though, to 2 players. Jordan Archer is retiring, and Tom McIntyre, I'm letting walk on a free. All right, I'm coming out of the gate swinging. I've made 2 signings, 2 free agent backup signings. Both of them are goalkeepers. I knew we had to sign a backup goalkeeper. I've found Kimmo Keenanen, a Finnish goalkeeper, and Alvaro Orozco, both on free agency. So I think 6'7", I've just clocked that. I think I'm going to send him out on loan. Honestly, I might get a third younger guy or a third lower rated guy and send both these guys out on loan. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I've brought in Josef Bursic, 71 rated, as to sit on the bench. I'm going to loan those other 2 guys out. And I'm also going to bring Ben Christine in from Norwich City as a backup left back. Now that I've got some of the backup positions sorted, it's time to go all out on one starting 11 signing. I mean, our money isn't as good as last year. I don't have that playoff final money, but I want to get one big addition to the squad. A few players will have to go though, so I can get the financial space for it. Anthony Scully is one of those guys. The Irish midfielder heading to the San Jose Earthquakes. But Fayez is going to be the main event of departures. He helped us get through a really tough period, helped us get up to the Premier League and survive. But it is time for a new era. And it's time to say goodbye and cash in as he hits 30 years of age. The Belgian defender will be joining Lazio. We have got our man in the back line though, up to an 80 overall, 25 years of age. It is the Dutch defender, Ryan Flamingo. Flamingo joins us from PSV for 17 mil. Also, we're finally getting some business sorted for the two young prospects in between the sticks. The 6'7" behemoth Alvaro Orozco heads to Udinese for 2 years. And the Finnish goalkeeper Kimmo Keenanen heads to Forest for the year. We've decided that we're not going to be sending Devlin off on any more loan expeditions. I'm going to convert him to a CDM and keep him on our bench. This season could be absolutely anything. We could find ourselves in the relegation battle again, fighting second season syndrome, or we could find ourselves in a bloody Premier League title race for all I know. I don't know what to expect. I just know that the guys of Ponomarenko and Pablo Felipe and Waneri, these guys, I'm going to need them on their top form. But lads, if you are enjoying this Portsmouth rebuild so far and you aren't already subscribed and you've made it to this point, go ahead, scorpion kick that subscribe button down below. Trying to hit 600,000 subscribers over here this year, so do your boy a favor. Let's get to the end of this season. No longer are we little old relegation League One Portsmouth. We are 7th in the Premier League this season. Maybe Conference League if things go our way. 58 points. That is a phenomenal season, and I said we needed to clean up our defense. We have done exactly that. I think we get exactly the same amount of goals as we got last year, but we are going to concede like 20 less. Top of the league this year is going to be Liverpool, and in the relegation zone, we finish above Manchester United, Chelsea, and Brighton, but our South Coast rivals, Southampton, go down alongside Leeds and West Brom. Tottenham win the FA Cup over Palace. 4th round exit for us. Arsenal win the Carabao Cup. We went out to Wrexham. I feel like we're going to be Premier League champions one day and still go out in the goddamn 2nd round of the Carabao Cup. Inter Milan win the Champions League. Bilbao win the Europa and the Conference League, the tournament that I'm hoping. Oh, Fayez, the man we sold. He wins the Conference League with Lazio. Ponomarenko's 17 goals this season, 83 overall. Pablo Felipe is 87 overall. This guy is on a one-way train to the Rebuild Hall of Fame if he keeps it up at this pace. Waneri is 83, brilliant. Devlin, super sub of dreams. My God, Yazbek up to a 77. Might look to upgrade from him next year. Struik, yeah, we're coming along nicely, but there is still a lot of work for us to do here at Portsmouth. How did our two goalkeepers go? Okay, both of them going up +2. Kinnunen up to a 77 at Forest, and Orozco up to a 79. We'll look for another loan move next year for Kinnunen. Orozco's still another year at Udinese. Bring on Season 6. I'm hoping we have Conference League. We are here. We are in European football, and I want our squad to reflect it. I want us to have the best crack possible at winning the Conference League. So I'm starting this year, bringing in a new defensive midfielder. We have an all-English defensive mid pairing now, as we have signed Hinchelwood from Brighton and Hove Albion. It's only a slight move west on the south coast for Jack, but he joins us for 23 mil. There is going to be a little bit of a clean out here though. Some players wanting to leave, some players I want to leave. This is a player that wanted to leave, and with a year left on his contract, we had to cash in before he walked on a free. The defender, Boet, heading to Feyenoord for 6.5 mil. And for as much as I would have loved to keep Patrick Yazbek, we just do not have the luxury, the finances to keep him on the bench. We've sold Patrick Yazbek to Genk, £9 million added to our budget. Oh my God, look at that fee we've been offered for Pablo Felipe. 150 mil. To go to Atletico Madrid. This is insane. You may have seen his name, though, in the negotiating section. Nathan Patterson, we're selling him. It's time to go in for an endgame right back. And for me, that man is going to be the Brazilian right back, Arthur. 81 overall, 26 years of age. He comes to us here at Pompey from Arsenal for just shy of £23 million. And we will round out the summer transfer window with a 2-year move, Keenan to Valencia. When we get both of these goalkeepers back, I honestly might cash in on both of them. That could help us immensely. But with our business in the summer, our squad is officially all in the 80s. That is a great baseline. So many of our guys look like they're ready to compete for a Champions League title right now. Potts up to an 85, which is brilliant. But we need to get the rest of the squad there. The good news is we are competing for the Conference League title, and these are our opponents. Cluj, Sligo, Apoel, Helsinki, Ajax, and Lugano. If we don't come close to the top of the Conference League with those opponents, I'm going to be shocked. All right, 1st of January, we sit in 9th position. I was kind of hoping we would be up where Manchester United are. We're not too far off where Liverpool are. 7 points away, but we're like, 10 away from the Champions League, so if we have any chance of getting Champions League football in season number 7, we're going to have to step things up in the second half of the year. So in my opinion, I think it is time for us to go for an upgraded younger centre-back. Pascal Struijk has been so solid for us, but we need to think about who's going to be there if we want to win a Champions League title. So at age 30, we are selling the Dutchman to Liverpool for £27 million. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to allow us to sign the Argentine centre-half, Valentin Gomez from FC Twente, 83 overall. I am pumped with that. In a season where I wanted us pushing for Champions League football, we have finished 11th. We are mid-table as hell. 11th right now is so damn disappointing. 50 points. We weren't even close to the top 4. 17 points away. Tottenham win the league. 11th is so bad, man. Middlesbrough, Burnley, Fulham get relegated. I'm praying that we did well in the Conference League so we can at least get some sort of European football. We did win the FA Cup, though. Okay, that is the silver lining. We have won the FA Cup over Wolverhampton 3-0 here with Portsmouth. We took down Arsenal in the semis, Stevenage in the quarters. I will take that, lads. That is our first trophy as Portsmouth gaffer. So that means at least we have Europa League football next year. Arsenal win the Carabao Cup. 3rd round exit there for us. PSG win the Champions League. Lille, French domination so far in the Europa League. We finished 27th. 27. We got 1 win out of 6. I talked all that crap and said that I thought we should be topping the damn league phase. And we got 1 win. That is actually shocking. I am actually embarrassed by that. If we hadn't have won, it's Villarreal winning there. If we hadn't have won the FA Cup, this would have been probably the worst season of the rebuild so far. Despite having an absolute stinker, our 3 superstars have had really good years. Ponomarenko gets himself 23 goals, Waneri gets himself 21 goal contributions, and Pablo Felipe, 90 overall at this point. Oh my God, he is such a freak, man. How are we finishing 11th? With a guy like Pablo Felipe? Kinnunen and Orozco both to an 80 overall. They could potentially be a succession plan if Suzuki slows up, or I could cash in on Orozco next year with him coming back and put all my chips into Kinnunen. There's a few things for us to consider. So coming into this season, I'm actually really happy with how the starting 11 looks at the moment. I think there are some areas where we could make some improvements, but I'm willing to give these lads the season and see how they progress. Some of these guys, if they can get to the 85 marker, they're sweet. But next year, honestly, I'll be looking to make a clean out as we look to win a Champions League, hopefully. Got to qualify for the Champions League first. But what I want to do this year, I want to invest our budget. We've got just shy of £40 million. I want to invest it in making sure our reserves are bulletproof. Sell a lot of the guys that are kind of dead weight at this point and get some really, really healthy replacements in. First things first, I'm going in for a new striker, and it is actually somebody that has signed for Portsmouth as I was in the process of making this video. And I'm pretty pumped about this one because it is another Australian. I don't seem biased at this point because it happened in real life. Thomas Waddingham from the Brisbane Roar. This dude has been lighting it up in the A-League this season. He's joining us from the Brisbane Roar for 9 mil. Next up, it is some help in the defense. Diego Coppola, the Italian, joining us from Cardiff. Frenchman Johan Kathleen is going to help us as a backup left midfielder. And a young English defender by the name of Joel Phillips signs on for a pretty small price, £2 million from Coventry. But now it's time to sell some players. I'm not done with my transfer business that I want to make. Harvey Blair heading to Heracles in, I believe, the Dutch League. Zach Swanson heads to Cardiff City. Riley Towler heads to Hearts. Freddie Potts has turned into an absolute beast as well. We could sell the majority of this side and have like £1 billion in the transfer budget. but I'm not selling the heart and soul of this team. I'm blocking offers for Freddie Potts. But somebody I did not block offers for, Alvaro Orozco, another loan move for him. But there we go, fellas. We finally got ourselves a backup right back in. Hungarian Alex Toth joining us from West Brom. Put a lot of faith into some of the lads. I feel a lot better about the overall aspect of the squad, though. The overall squad looks so much stronger now. Our bench is strong. Nobody in the 60s in the entire club, which is brilliant. That's always a nice marker. But who is going to make the cut coming into next year? Honestly, I called Arthur an endgame player. He's looking most likely to get the cut next season. We'll see how this season progresses, though. Felipe up to a 90. If we don't have Champions League with Felipe next year, I feel like he might want to leave. It almost feels cruel wasting his career at a mid-table club. So it is up to us to make sure we are not mid-table anymore. Keeping the faith has got us Champions League football for season number 7. Finally, we have broken out of that mid-table mold. 3rd in the Premier League here with Portsmouth. Liverpool win the league, but I'm just happy to be in the top half of the table, happy to be in the Champions League next year. Relegation zone, we'll see Leeds, Ipswich, Southampton going down comfortably. Unfortunately, we did lose the Community Shield at the start of the season to Tottenham, and we did not go back-to-back in the FA Cup. Liverpool have won the Carabao Cup. Is that a treble for them? Yeah, that's a domestic treble for Liverpool. Fair play. Honestly, I don't know why I even bother checking the Carabao Cup anymore. Tottenham have won the Champions League. Fair bloody play to them. Okay, this is a lot better than the Conference League last year. We go undefeated in league phase play in the Europa League and would have to be one of the favourites to go all the way. Undefeated, the only, besides Villarreal, the only undefeated side. So we skip the playoffs. Round of 16, we beat Besiktas 6-2. Quarterfinals, we beat Anderlecht 5-3, so we're into the semi-finals, and we're in to the final, beating Lyon 3-2. We're going to be versing Villarreal. Are we going to win a Europa League? With Portsmouth, we do. We win the Europa League final 2-0 over Villarreal. So that is a double qualification to the Champions League next year. And when it comes to the Conference League, Man City pop out on top. That is absolutely massive though, fellas. Ponomarenko getting himself 35 goal contributions. Waneri gets himself 34. I will say though, probably a career worst season for Pablo Felipe. He's got the runs on the board, but only 16 for him, which is saying something about how good he is. Orozco goes up to an 80 overall. Meanwhile, Kinnunen goes to an 82. I'm going to have some interesting decisions because Suzuki's 85. I'm pretty cool with Suzuki at the moment. I'm going to have some big decisions as to what I do in the goalkeeper department next year when these guys get back. But for now, I am pumped to be in the Champions League. Bring on season 7 with Portsmouth. We're into season 8, and I'm going to call this a watch and see season. I'm just going to make one signing in this summer transfer window. And that is going to be at the centre-back role. I'm getting a definitive guy who can be our centre-back of the future. The Swedish centre-back regen, Ludwig Lund. Picking him up from Bournemouth for £34.2 million. Kinnunen does still has the potential to be special tag, so I'm going to loan him out again here, trying to get him as close to possible to that 85 marker. So this is what the squad looks like. We've got 3 players that are into the 90s. Potts could get there this year, but I'm taking the first half of the season. I'm saving a lot of our money because I could realistically see us getting rid of Gomis, Brown, probably not Flamingo, maybe Arthur, probably not Suzuki, maybe Hinshelwood. Like there is 4 or 5 players that I could definitely see us profiting on come January if they're not growing the way I want them to. The way I'm going to say it is if you hit 85 overall this season, then you're safe. So Gomis, honestly, hasn't grown much in the past couple of years. He might be the most likely to go. I'm going to throw Gomez on the bench here. But honestly, fellas, I want us winning a Champions League this year. I think when you have 390 rated players, you're a chance every single year. I want to make sure the squad is as high as possible here in season number 8. One thing I've noticed in a lot of these monster rebuilds, I know a championship one can't necessarily be classified as a monster rebuild, but when you get to season 8, I think that enters monster rebuild territory. But one thing I've noticed is sometimes it just takes us so long to get to the Champions League, but then when we get there, everything just explodes. I'm really hoping and really confident that that could be the case this year. But when it comes to the Champions League, this is who we have. PSV on the road to start things off, followed up with RB Leipzig, Servette in October, then FC Midtjylland on the road in November, followed up with a home clash against Benfica. So far, so good. AEK Athens in December, and we rounded out with Monaco and Bayern Munich. Okay, Bayern Munich, definitely our toughest opponent. We need to make sure that we start strong. 1st of January, and we sit here in 6th position, but we are only 2 points out of the top 4, so it's not all so bad. Man City running away with things at the moment. We are balancing our Champions League campaign on a knife's edge right now in terms of getting ourselves automatically into the next stage. 2 games to go, currently sitting 13th. If we can go undefeated against Bayern Munich and Monaco, that's going to be awesome. But the big thing is our starting 11. Gomes got a little growth. I said if guys got to 85, they would be safe this year. Hinshelwood gets there, and Brown does as well. So honestly, I think I'm going to go all out here. Let's get ourselves a new left midfielder. Let's get ourselves a new right back. We have the money to immediately go in for a new right back. Some of you guys might have been able to tell by the hair, but it is going to be Rico Lewis. There were a few players that I was tossing and turning about, but Rico Lewis, we're going to sign from Bayern Munich. That is a huge tick given we play Bayern Munich in a couple weeks' time. They don't have any other quality right backs on their roster, so not only are we going to improve ourselves, and this is a signing we want to make, but we're also going to decrease a side that we desperately need to beat, and we may face again later on this season potentially. So Rico Lewis, an awesome pickup. Welcome to Portsmouth, mate. We get him for 47 mil. I want to get a superstar left midfielder though, fellas. It is time for us to cash in on 3 big players, get ourselves as much money as possible. Gomes was solid, but he definitely dried up a little bit. 47 mil to send him to Tottenham. I'm cool with that. Alvaro Orozco, I'm happy with that. 19 mil for a guy that I loaned out and got a little growth out of. And finally, Arthur goes to West Ham United. That leaves us with just shy of 100 million pounds. Let's go get ourselves a world-class left midfielder. I mean, I could make it 250 million pounds if I wanted to sell Ponomarenko, but there is not a chance in the world. There we go, fellas. This is our biggest signing of the rebuild so far. I'm pumped about this one. This is not going to hurt our chances at a Premier League or a Champions League title by any stretch of the imagination, as we are going to pick up the left midfielder, Duranville. We've struck a deal with Antonio Conte at Napoli, and we have got the left midfielder across on a club record transfer, 90 million pounds. So we ended up beating Monaco 1-0, but lost to Bayern Munich 2-1. So that has finished us in 11th position here. Off to the playoffs we go. In the playoffs, we have a date with Mallorca. I'm never going to be mad about a date in Mallorca. All right, it is a trip to Spain to start things off. Mallorca versus Portsmouth. Our team is insane. Potts has joined the 90 overall club. Suzuki, Brown, Flamingo, all up to an 86. We have got ourselves a good football club, ladies and gentlemen, and we prove it, but we prove it late. Ponomarenko giving us a 1-0 lead to take back to Fratton Park. Let's not stuff it up though. Back at Fratton Park. Come on, Pompey. Get us into the round of 16. We do just that. We're going to take them down 2-1. We're into the round of 16 of the Champions League. But Freddie Potts is going to be out for the first leg of the round of 16. God damn it. And that's going to be against AC Milan. Cool. Cool. We have been thrown into the Thunderdome. Welcome to the Thunderdome, boys. Here we go. Devlin is into the starting 11 for this first leg. I just want to take things even. I just want to go to the San Siro with this tied up against AC Milan, and we are not going to do that. Oh my God. They get a man sent off. We can't capitalize though. And we're going to be heading to the San Siro with a 2-goal deficit to overcome against AC Milan. This is not looking good. Freddie Potts is in the starting 11, but is it going to be too little too late? We are 2-0 down against Milan. This would have to be a remarkable comeback. Come on, fellas. Goal in the first half, goal in the second half, send it to extra time. Oh my God. I saw the 2 and I almost lost it. We almost pull off the comeback. They get another man sent off, but we are out in the Champions League round of 16. That is horrible. Thankfully, though, we are going to get another shot at redemption next season. We are into the Champions League again, finishing 4th this season. Man City win the league. Liverpool down in 11th, but it is Bournemouth, Middlesbrough, and Burnley going down. We lost. Oh, we lost the FA Cup final. We lost the FA Cup final on penalties to Manchester United. Everton beat Plymouth in the Carabao Cup final, and we lost to Tottenham in the UEFA Super Cup final. This season was almost so good, but it is just proven to be an absolute disappointment. Barcelona beat AC Milan in the Champions League final. Dortmund win the Europa League, and Wolfsburg win the Conference League. The one shining light, Ponomarenko honestly might be nominated for a Ballon d'Or next year. 38 goals, 91 overall. Same thing with Winery, honestly. 92 overall, 30 goal contributions. How have we only gone to the round of 16 of the Champions League and 4th in the Premier League with a 91 rated striker, 92 rated attacking midfielder, 93 rated right midfielder? Our team is way too good to be doing that poor. Duranville, though, I know he was only here for the second half of the season, but no goals and 2 assists. That's kind of shocking. We are going to be saying goodbye, though, to Callum Lang at the end of this season. The attacking midfielder is going to be retiring. I feel bad that we couldn't send him out with a Champions League title or any silverware, to be honest. We just sent him out with a lot of disappointment. All right, the domino has fallen. Starting season 9 here, Nathan Brown entering the back end of his career. I want to go for somebody even higher. I want to make sure our squad, from now on, every year we don't get Champions League football, I'm going to be trying to replace someone around the 90 overall marker. Nathaniel Brown, 86 rated, 29 years of age, heads to Newcastle for 69 mil. And to get his upgrade, I've signed quite literally the highest rated left back in the world, Oscar Wagner. I searched every league, I searched every age, I searched every nationality. Oscar Wagner, the highest rated left back in the world, 90 overall. And to fill the gap left at the backup attacking midfielder role, we are going to sign the Welsh attacking midfielder Luke Harris, bringing him back to the Premier League, signing him from Burnley for 23 mil. I'm honestly shocked that we are even into a season 9 of this rebuild. I thought this was going to be a 6 or 7 season rebuild. I'm losing my mind, but we have got an unbelievable squad. Half of our starting 11, almost 5 players aren't in, 5 or 6 players aren't in the 90 overall marker. We are building something insane, and I'm losing my mind that the best we've made is the round of 16 of the Champions League. But here's our path. I don't want the bloody playoffs again this year. We've got Celtic, we've got Slavia Praha, Dinamo Zagreb, Fenerbahce, Borussia Dortmund, FC Porto, and to round it out, we've got Sevilla and Inter Milan. It's tough, man. It's tough. But if we consider ourselves any chance, I want us at the top. And I came to check the Ballon d'Or this year. Haaland, Lee, Xerxes, and Yamal. Where is our guy? Who is Lee? Sang-Hoon Lee. I assume this is probably the Heung-min Son regen. He's an absolute beast. Justice for our guy, though. 1st of January, top of the Premier League. 8 points cleared. This is what I'm talking about. And so far, so good in the Champions League. Bring it home, lads. All right, so we finished with 2 draws in January. It's not ideal, but we have held on to our spot just in the next round. We skip the playoffs. 6th with Portsmouth, skipping the playoffs right into the round of 16. Who are we going to face? There it is. Round of 16, we have been drawn Lille. We've been drawn Lille. The French outfit is our opponent here. Lille took down Union Berlin in the playoff round, so they're coming in on good form. I do not want us going out in the round of 16 again. Luckily, Potts is not suspended here. Oh, but here we go. All right, here we go. First leg in France. Come on. 2-2. They get a man sent off. Ponomarenko is the goal scorer. A brace for him. We're heading back to Fratton Park with this one in the balance. I just want us putting them to the sword, man. Put them to the sword. Get ourselves through to the quarterfinals for the first time. Our team is insane, and we somehow forced this one to penalties. Oh my god. That feels almost like a loss. We're into the quarterfinals, but we did not look good doing it. Ponomarenko, the only player basically looking good, getting 4 goals. But that does not make me feel good if we get drawn up against a Real Madrid or a Manchester City. And yep, there it is. We've got Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals. We cannot allow ourselves to play like we did against Lille. I want dominant Portsmouth ball. We're at the top of the Premier League for a reason. We have 93 and 94 rated players all across the park. This is one of the best teams I've ever put together in a rebuild history. I wanted to reflect that on the park. That's what I'm talking about. It could have been 3-1, but at least we get an away win against Bayern Munich as we head now back to Fratton Park. Here we go, fellas. Rainy night at Fratton Park. Trying to get ourselves into the Final Four of the Champions League, which we do. 2-0. Ponomarenko, Pablo, Portsmouth are into the Final Four. Come on. It just had to be, fellas. Our chance at revenge is here. We've got the team that eliminated us in the round of 16 last season, AC Milan. But my God, fellas, we cannot allow ourselves to go 2 goals behind like we did last time. We're traveling to the San Siro. Let's see how this first leg goes. Do not be a loss. It is a 2-2 draw. Okay, I'm fine with that. Waneri's going to bag himself a brace. We head back to Fratton Park, but we are actually in it this time compared to last year. We know that we can beat AC Milan, fellas. We did it to them last year. We beat them in the second leg last year. I want that to happen again here. I want 90 minutes of domination from Portsmouth. We don't do it in 90, but we do it in 120. We're heading to a Champions League final. We have proven that we deserve to be there. Portsmouth via Baker and Harris. Our 2 super subs today are the heroes. We're heading to a Champions League final. Revenge. Sweet revenge. But here we go. We have got Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen in the 2033 Champions League final. It's going to be a huge one, and they're going to try continuing the German domination in Europe this year as Eintracht Frankfurt win the Europa League. Genk are going to win the Conference League, Patrick Yazbek's team, but we win a Premier League title with Pompey. We finish 11 points clear. Absolutely walking the league this year. We've won the Premier League. That is a great omen. Relegation zone. Some of the big dogs fallen down, but Fulham, Brentford, and Norwich get relegated. Wolves win the FA Cup. Man City win the Carabao. But we are ready to win a Champions League title. 94 rated Ponomarenko. 94 rated and where... Oh my God, man. Like, this team... 93 Pablo Felipe. Duranville's had an incredible second season after I doubted him. Our team is cooked, man. Oscar Wagner, 91 rated. Potts is 90. This team is cooked, bro. I cannot wait to use this team in the Champions League final. Probably the best team I've built all year long. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't wait to see them in action. Let's not allow them to get an early shot off. They just ran circles around us there. Go on. Man down for Leverkusen. I want to take full advantage. I don't know who this is. It's Felipe. Felipe is going to hit the crossbar. I thought that was the opening goal for all money. Whip it in there. It's a great ball. Potts. Freddie Potts and Pan's block. Pablo Felipe trying to get that one in there. We've got the ball off. We can't win the header though. Duranville gonna bang it. What was that technique? I mean, it almost worked wonders. If I scored that, I don't think I could have scored a more unique goal in channel history. Good defense. Potts has been a defensive midfield beast for us in that first half. Good ball. Bondarenko. Oh my God, why did I call him Bondarenko? Ponomarenko has just given us the lead to start the second half with an absolute banger of a shot there. Kick-off cheese working wonders on a dime to our Ukrainian superstar striker. I mean, what a ball from Felipe. I saw that defender push up a little bit and we've hit it. He couldn't have hit that more perfect if he wanted. Oh, we got so lucky there. I thought he might have been offside, but we're going to go back. Ponomarenko hits that one. I thought that was 2. We are all over Leverkusen in this one. Cherky gets the shot. I think that might have taken a deflection, but Suzuki was all over it. Oh no! Oh my God, get there, Suzuki! Oh my God, they missed it! We are so lucky, man. I was trying to throw that over the top, not underneath. Holy hell. Blow that whistle, please. Come on. I cannot believe how long this has taken. And I cannot believe we only scored 1 goal in that Champions League final. But we have finally won a Champions League with Portsmouth. I actually feel so much relief. This is by far the toughest rebuild I have done of the year. Never has a rebuild with a championship side taken me 9 seasons. But history has been made, ladies and gentlemen. And it is going to be our loanee turned club legend, Potts, lifting the Champions League trophy of Portsmouth. He is a name I will never forget. This is a rebuild I will never forget. But ladies and gentlemen, Pompey are European champions. Lads, if you enjoyed this rebuild, make sure you click here to subscribe and click here to check out another video.